Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to another video. Arsenal are set to announce a huge marquee signing this summer. Very imminently. According to Fabrizio Romano, the deal between Gabriel Jesus and a Premier League club is happening very soon, and we should be getting an announcement imminently. Arsenal have also entered the race to sign Raphinha. Richarlison is being discussed, and it is believed that Eddie will use his Brazilian connections to get Richarlison to the Emirates Stadium. We'll also discuss Gianluca Scamacca and the possibility that he will not be staying in Italy but moving abroad. All that in one video, and this is the video. So do me a favor, hit the like button because it pushes the podcast as far as possible. So hit the like button. Let's get this video to 300 likes. Also, do a huge favor by subscribing to the podcast. Now, those are two huge favors you can't do for me on this video. Subscribe. Let's get this podcast to 50,000 subscribers. It will be massively appreciated. For now, enjoy the content. Let's start off with Fabrizio Romano. Romano, in the past 30 minutes, has put out a very dangerous tweet, very deadly tweet. But then I think, for an Arsenal fan, it is rather exciting, rather than putting anyone on pressure and on tenterhooks. He has said that Gabriel Jesus and the situation between him and Manchester City, there is no slight change. What has changed in this deal is that Gabriel Jesus will only be signing for a Premier League club, and Real Madrid are out of the race. However, there are also very big questions on who is going to sign or who's going to make the announcement, because Chelsea and Arsenal are now two close clubs, two close rivals that are closely monitoring the situation of the player. Romano says the player will stay in the Premier League. He will stay in the UK, and the Premier League club is going to be announcing him very soon. Details are also going to follow very soon. So listen, lads, the tweet is put out as Romano is a very big one, and at this point in time, when the window has just opened, of course, you have the likes of Darwin Núñez moving to Liverpool, you have the likes of Haaland moving to Manchester City. So big transfers are already happening even before the window officially opens. It has officially opened today, but even before it officially opened, big deals have already happened. But with Gabriel Jesus, I think Romano just doesn't want to go to the wall. He doesn't want to press himself onto the wall. He doesn't want to commit to say Arsenal are announcing Gabriel Jesus very imminently. Arsenal are announcing the deal of Gabriel Jesus very soon. He doesn't want to do that because at any point in time, Arsenal can disappoint you. You have the likes of Chelsea, in the back room trying to persuade the player, trying to talk to the agents of the player, and also trying to convince him to join, Chelsea Football Club. But for me, whatever kind of information is coming out, this one is very open. This one is very easy to see. Arsenal are imminently going to announce Gabriel Jesus as their first marquee signing of the summer. Of course, we want a couple of marquee signings. Our first signing is done, but not a big one. Marquinhos is not a big one. 19 years of age, yes, he's Brazilian. He can come in and make an impact. He can come in and have this big stage, ahead of him. But I don't think he's a big signing. So our first big signing as Arsenal Football Club is going to be Gabriel Jesus. I've looked at all the possibilities around Gabriel Jesus going to Tottenham Hotspur. If you are going to go to Tottenham, the first thing they have to do is to move on Harry Kane. Harry Kane, of course, there is interest from Bayern, there is interest from Chelsea who are losing Romelu Lukaku, but in my opinion, there is no way Bayern are going to pay 100 million euros, 100 million pounds for Harry Kane. Yes, they are losing Robert Lewandowski, and they're desperate to find a replacement for him. I don't see how they pay 100 million. So for his deal to Tottenham Hotspur, for me, it's off. It is very difficult. There are only two clubs in this race, Chelsea and Arsenal. The disadvantage that Chelsea have in this deal, at least at this point in time, they have not agreed any personal terms. They have not had contacts between them and the player, and they have also not had contacts between them and Manchester City. They have only been reported as weighing up a bid. They're only a club that is interested. They're not as serious as Arsenal. Actually, yesterday Christian Fox said, was reporting about the Chelsea transfer situation, and he said their priority is now to get in a defender or at least two centre backs. They're looking at they're looking at Presnel Kimpembe. They're looking at Jules Koundé and I think Milan Skriniar as well. Those are the three players they're looking at. And then when you look at, of course, at the end of the excerpt, he said Thomas Tuchel would also love to work with a striker like Gabriel Jesus. So it is not serious. It is not concrete interest that Chelsea are posing a threat to the Gabriel Jesus deal. Arsenal are as comfortable as ever. What Arsenal have been doing is trying to play the waiting game, try to get Manchester City to reduce the price. And that has happened. Of course, according to Dean Jones yesterday, he confirmed as well a story that we ran via James Beng. He said, for some reason, Arsenal felt that 55 million euros was too high was too high for Gabriel Jesus, and they asked Manchester City to lower the price. Manchester City accordingly lowered the price by 10 to 12 million. So it is believed that Arsenal will be paying 43 million only for the transfer of Gabriel Jesus. His contract is running down, and I think I agree, and I understand why Arsenal refused to pay a lot of money for Gabriel Jesus. But Romano has confirmed now that a deal is going to be announced very soon. A Premier League club will be announcing the player. It is not Chelsea for me. It is not Tottenham Hotspur for me. It is not Real Madrid, according to Fabrizio Romano, because he says he's staying in the UK, he's signing for a club in the Premier League. Unless Madrid are going to shift from the Spanish La Liga to the Premier League, there is no way that is happening. So Arsenal, for me, they're going to be announcing this one, and I'm super excited. Absolutely super excited. So wait for that one. The moment, like I said, it's a deal that we'll be trying to update whenever we can. So if anything develops, if anything comes up regarding that one, I'll be able and I'll be the first person to let you know. Congratulations and big up to Fabrizio Romano for being the best transfer journalist in the world at the moment. One of my friends told me Romano was a film actor, and now he's the best transfer journalist you can ever think about. Now, moving on to the other stories, we'll talk about Gianluca Scamacca. Scamacca is has apparently said it is okay with him to move out of Italy and move abroad. According to The Athletic, it looks like the two strikers that Arsenal are confidently going to close will be Edin Ketia and Gabriel Jesus. And The Athletic have just said that it looks like a deal for Gianluca Scamacca is one that Arsenal consider as a backup deal if Gabriel Jesus doesn't happen. If whatsoever reason the Gabriel Jesus deal does not happen, then Gianluca Scamacca is the player that Arsenal will turn to. But if they get Gabriel Jesus, then it is highly unlikely that Arsenal will sign a second striker. That is according to The Athletic today. But they've also said that you have a lot of interest and you have a lot of approvals from the Arsenal coaching staff, from the Arsenal backroom in Gianluca Scamacca. The coaches and all the staff look at Gianluca Scamacca as a player that would fit into the ambitions of Arsenal Football Club, and also as a player who would provide a different kind of dimension to what Gabriel Jesus offers the club. And for me, that is my point. The reason why Arsenal should sign Gianluca Scamacca, first and foremost, is not because he's a 20 goal guarantee per campaign. One, I think is a cheap option. 35 million euros. That is very, very cheap. Or 45. That is very, very cheap for a player who's very young and highly rated. But then also, if you look at him and what he offers and what Premier League clubs are trying to do, bringing in the likes of Erling Haaland, bringing the likes of Darwin Núñez and Liverpool, they're trying to sign huge defenders. They're trying to bring in these, that caliber of players that when you look at them, you will be afraid of them. Strikers that can guarantee you 20 goals, strikers that are clinical, but also strikers that offer something different. They can be able to knock down defenders. They can be able to, hustle their way into the final third. And look, I'm one person who really fancies. I'm one person who really is ready to back Arsenal if they want to bring in someone who's strong, someone who is muscular, and someone who is a little bit physical. If you look at these defenders in the Premier League, look at Manchester United. They have Harry Maguire. Look at Chelsea, Thiago Silva. Look at Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk. Look at the likes of Ruben Neves at Manchester City. Ruben Dias, sorry. The Premier League defenders are really gigantic. So it doesn't really. I think it makes a lot of sense for if a club decided we are going to go for a physical striker. We might have a clever striker. We might have a very flexible striker, a striker who is very neat. But then it doesn't hurt you to have a player like Gianluca Scamacca. We've seen ourselves in a very, very difficult situations against clubs like Burnley. We've failed to break them down, and all you have to do is you have to have a strong striker that can match the quality, the physique of Burnley defenders. And many of the underdog clubs in the Premier League, that is what they go for. They go for very tall, gigantic defenders to make sure that they do not concede a lot. Try to hold these games to on 0-0, on 1-1 until very late, and then try to get one or two chances, one or two shots on goal. If they can get a goal, win a game by 1-0, that is what they're looking at. So for me, Scamacca would have been a very, very good striker. He's open to a move abroad. PSG apparently are the club leading the race, according to The Athletic. Two more Brazilian players have been linked with Arsenal this evening. One of them is Raphinha. Now, Raphinha and Richarlison would give us the same thing, but Raphinha for me would be a better deal to Arsenal. If you think about Richarlison, I think Richarlison is a very, very good player. He can play as a striker. Arsenal looking for that caliber of a forward, one who can play off the wings but can give you very, very many goals. But then you can also shift him into that number 9 position, and then he fits in very well. Raphinha is not that. Raphinha predominantly plays on the flanks. He can play as a winger, as a left winger, and also as a right winger. One thing I love about Raphinha, he guarantees you goals. Goals, at least 10, 13 goals per campaign is a guarantee. And I think Arsenal should be thinking about that. The fact that you have Saka, Martinelli giving you a total of around 25 goals per campaign, that is not enough. You need another player like Raphinha to guarantee you at least another 15 goals per campaign. Then you can bring in a striker like Gabriel Jesus to give you 15 goals per campaign. I don't think it's worth 25 goals per campaign. I think he can give you 15 to 20 goals per campaign in Gabriel Jesus. But so Raphinha, the deal that was taking him to Barcelona is apparently collapsing. They want him. They rate him highly, but Barcelona in a very, very difficult financial situation. And Leeds are asking for 55 million euros. That money is not going to be paid in installments, according to what I've seen from Fabrizio Romano. Leeds want that money to be paid into their account wholesomely. Now, I don't think Barcelona are in a position to pay 55 million pounds quid into an account for Leeds, especially if they lose Frankie de Jong for around 80 million euros. They could replace him with Bernardo Silva. I think the deal could be around 65 to 70 million euros, and then they have to sign Robert Lewandowski for around 35 million euros. So I don't see in any way, shape or form how Barca are going to sign Raphinha, Robert Lewandowski and Bernardo Silva. Raphinha is a very, very good player. He would sit into what Xavi wants to do, but I think they will just need to forego that deal. So Richarlison and Raphinha have been both discussed today, and we will try to share more of our thoughts live today evening at exactly 11 p.m. See you soon.